Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'd like to express my gratitude for this privilege to deliver this response on behalf of my fellow winners in this year's Metrobank Foundation Search for Outstanding Teachers, Soldiers, and Police Officers. We stand before you today deeply honored and humbled by this recognition that has been bestowed upon us. Each of us represents stories of struggle and courage in the conduct of our respective duties and responsibilities. And with your indulgence, please allow me to share some personal insights. I come from a family of average needs, with aunts, uncles, and a mother who all served as public school teachers, and a father, God rest his soul, who had to work as an OFW in Saudi Arabia. Looking back now, the indoctrination I must have received from all of them was probably instrumental in making me eventually decide to become a teacher myself, and to continue to be so for the past 31 years. Motherhood was also an important point in my life, as it made me acutely aware of the role of education in the formation of my children. Being a firm believer in karma, I made a vow to myself that as a teacher, I will treat my students in a manner that I hope my own children's teachers will treat them. That is, with patience, perseverance, and love. To this day, I have tried to keep that promise, and this is why this recognition is made more meaningful, because it provides the affirmation that I was indeed right in remaining steadfast to my oath. In our final judging interview, I was asked by the panel of judges if I believe that our country is poor, and if so, what are the challenges that I had to face as a teacher? I presume that they must have asked the same question to our police officers and soldiers in their final round. I had to take a moment to reflect on the question. Poor? In what sense? We are a country of more than 95 million able-bodied citizens. We do not lack for brilliant minds, engineers, doctors, scientists, police officers, soldiers, and many others who are even now excelling in their respective fields here and abroad. We are blessed with the richest diversity of flora and fauna, some of which can only be found in this part of the world. We have large tracts of fertile soil to support our agricultural production, and we receive more than our share of precipitation, sometimes even more than what we need, and possess some of the richest deposits of gold, silver, copper, nickel, and other minerals. And so I hope you will understand why in the process of answering the judge's question, I found it quite difficult to correlate these facts with our current realities. The bottom line for me really is the apparent disconnect between our supposedly rich human capital and natural resource base on one hand, and the state of affairs of our country on the other. Every year, each of us here are faced with the age-old problems of insufficient resources that are considered vital in the efficient conduct of our respective duties. Salaries, capability-building programs, and various infrastructural and logistical support. We hear stories of teachers using their own hard-earned money to buy materials to create their teaching devices, and even providing food for their students. Or worse, opting to leave the teaching profession and their families to work as caregivers, domestic helpers, or OFWs, a situation that is not so different from what my own father did some 40 years ago. We hear stories of bravery among our men and women in uniform, who despite being ill-equipped, face all sorts of danger just to protect the communities that they serve. But what is common among all of us is our steadfast commitment to serve our people and our country in the ways that we know how. And so please forgive me if I take advantage of this opportunity to state this humble appeal. I urge all of you to please use your authority in building the much-needed systems and infrastructures which will produce the human capital that will run government, implement our laws, efficiently allocate and utilize our natural resources, and drive our industry. all in the hope of moving the country forward to a more sustainable form of development. Being the optimist that I am, I believe that we have people in all sectors of society who have the country's best interests in mind and who are willing to take the necessary steps to turn this into reality. In closing, I would just like to say that it's often been said that it takes a community to raise a child. By the same token, it also takes a community to bring out the best in a teacher or a policeman or a soldier. We are deeply grateful to the Metrobank Foundation for this honor, and we laud its efforts to assist and provide recognition to our public servants. I am sure that there are more deserving individuals out there who perform their duties with utmost dedication without expecting much in return. It is to these nameless public servants that we offer this award, and I hope that I, together with my fellow honorees, will be able to live up to all your expectations. We thank the distinguished members of Congress for giving us this opportunity to meet with you in person and to personally express our gratitude and appreciation for all the good things that you are doing for our country. This is indeed a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many of us. On a more personal note, I would like to thank my institution, the Ateneo, for providing me with the best possible environment that is conducive to my professional and spiritual growth. To my family, and I would also like to say that in honoring me, you also honor my mother, who has served our public school system for the past 43 years. And to my fellow honorees, I hope that you will continue to find meaning and joy in the gifts that we are all given, the gift of self and the joy of service. Finally, I know that teaching is what God has intended for me, and on behalf of all the honorees, we thank Him for the gift of life and wisdom. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloria. Maraming salamat.